You might as well give us our trophy right now because we're gonna smash that record.
This thing's too far gone.
Sean Whitley, better known by fans as Farmtruck, wasn't born into fame or fortune. He didn't have the fancy tools, high-end race cars, or even a garage full of auto parts. What he had, however, was passion. A deep love for cars and speed that burned brightly from a young age. Born on March 26, 1966, Sean was raised in Oklahoma with the strong support of his family. Though they didn't have much, his parents gave him something many children long for: unwavering encouragement. His earliest experience behind the wheel was in his mom's 1974 Dodge Dart, which he affectionately named Betsy. Even though the car had a humble slant-six engine, it became Sean's gateway into the world of street racing. He often joked that as soon as he got out of sight of the house, he'd pretend he was in a race. His mom, worried about his speed, would sometimes tug at his pant leg to slow him down. These small, personal stories reveal just how early the love for cars began and how his humble start shaped the legend he would later become. As a teenager, Sean didn't have it easy. He had to work hard to make ends meet and follow his dreams. While attending high school, he also worked at a foundry where he helped produce manhole covers and fire hydrants. He'd go to school until noon, then head straight to work until evening. In addition to this, he also worked as a janitor, hauling trash and doing whatever was needed to earn money. Despite these hardships, Sean kept his dream alive. He spent many hours practicing on the quiet streets of Oklahoma, especially on the historic Route 66. He recalls driving 100 miles per hour out in the middle of nowhere, far from city traffic. It was his way of learning, pushing the limits, and exploring what it felt like to truly race. Eventually, he bought his first vehicle, a 1970 Ford F-250 Camper Special. It wasn't much, it was rusty, broke down often, and required constant repairs. But to Sean, it was everything. Even though he couldn't afford to upgrade it, he poured all his time and money into keeping it running. That experience taught him resilience, resourcefulness, and the real meaning of loving something that gives nothing back, except freedom. Sean's life took a huge turn when he joined the cast of Street Outlaws. His love for old trucks and street racing earned him a spot on the show, and this would become the breakthrough he needed. On the show, Sean drove a long-bed 1970 Chevy truck, what fans now know as the iconic Farmtruck. He was often seen racing alongside his best friend AZN, pronounced Asian, a fellow car enthusiast. Their bond was not only based on racing, but on a deep and fun, loving friendship. They met at a street race where Farmtruck raced his truck and AZN raced his Chevy Nova. After the race, the two stood talking, laughing, and joking like they'd known each other for years. Though 20 years apart in age, their chemistry was instant, and they became inseparable. The show helped showcase their partnership and talent, making them internet sensations overnight. AZN even joked one day that Farmtruck had become a YouTube legend and that the internet was loving the 405 Oklahoma City crew, filled with wild racers and big personalities. The success of Street Outlaws wasn't just a career milestone, it was the realization of a dream for Sean, who never expected to become a TV star. Although fans saw the confident, fun-loving Farmtruck on TV, very few knew the struggles he was fighting behind the scenes. Sean never spoke much about his personal life, choosing instead to let the cameras focus on the racing. However, over time, pieces of his story began to emerge. He revealed that there were times when he doubted himself deeply, wondering if he was good enough or if he belonged in the spotlight. He admitted to suffering through a long and painful battle with substance abuse that lasted 13 years. This dark period nearly ruined everything for him: his health, his career, and his relationships. But in 2016, he decided to take back control of his life. He became clean and sober and proudly stated that August marked 9 years of sobriety. For Sean, returning to racing wasn't just a hobby. It was part of his healing. He poured his energy into cars because they gave him a purpose when everything else felt uncertain. During this time, he also opened up about his family. He revealed that he has a partner named Amber Brown, a 12-year-old son named Ryland, and a 19-year-old stepdaughter named Autumn. Their support played a crucial role in his recovery and return to the track. When fans talk about Farmtruck's tragedy, they often refer to the hidden years. The time when he almost disappeared from the racing world entirely. It wasn't a single accident or one shocking moment. Instead, it was a slow fall, years of self-doubt, addiction, and lost direction. While the TV show made him famous, it also brought challenges he wasn't prepared for. Fame can be heavy, especially when your personal life is already a storm. For a while, people noticed he wasn't as active on the show or in public appearances. Rumors started flying. Some even thought he had left the sport for good. Others speculated he and AZN had a falling out or that health issues were keeping him away. But the truth was simpler and more heartbreaking. He was struggling with the pressure, with personal demons, and trying to rebuild his life quietly. During one emotional interview, Shawn admitted that racing gave him a second chance. He said that when he returned to the track and saw fans cheering him on, it reminded him of who he really was, a fighter, a racer, and a survivor. Even after leaving the main spotlight of Street Outlaws, Farmtruck and AZN stayed connected and continued to build on the brand they had created. They opened the Farmtruck and AZN shop in Oklahoma City, a place where car lovers could gather, get customization services, and buy merchandise related to the show. It became more than just a business. It became a symbol of everything Shawn had worked for. Fans from all over the country visited, not just to buy things, but to share stories and express how much Farmtruck inspired them. AZN and Shawn continued building custom cars, appearing at car events, and sharing their love for racing online. The two even made special appearances in spin-off events like No Prep Kings, where they continued to thrill audiences with their bold personalities and creative builds. The magic between them never faded, and they often joked that they still hadn't gotten recognized in public, even after years on TV. Their bond is a rare example of true friendship in a fast-moving world where people often drift apart. Shawn Whitley, despite being a public figure, still remains very private. He doesn't chase the spotlight. He doesn't live the flashy celebrity lifestyle. In fact, he openly admits that he doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs anymore, and avoids big social events. Instead, he prefers quiet moments with his family and time alone in his garage, working on his beloved 1971 Firebird. For him, that's the real reward. Not the fame, not the money, but the peace that comes from doing what he loves. Today, his net worth is estimated to be between $2 and $3 million. But ask any real fan, and they'll tell you that his true value lies in his story of struggle, comeback, and resilience. Through his racing, his openness about addiction, and his honesty about life's ups and downs, Shawn has become more than just a street racer. He's become a symbol of hope for people who feel like giving up, and a reminder that even the toughest roads can lead to a new beginning. One of the most inspiring things about Shawn Whitley's journey is how he never changed who he was, even after becoming a TV celebrity. In a world where most people chase fame and luxury, Farmtruck stayed grounded. He didn't suddenly start driving luxury cars or living in a mansion. He didn't forget the early days when he had to fix a broken carburetor in the cold or race in old trucks that barely held together. Instead, he used his platform to inspire others who were struggling. Whether it was someone facing addiction or a young kid dreaming of racing, Shawn made sure his story was shared honestly. He didn't hide his mistakes. He talked about the bad decisions he made, his years of addiction, and the pain he caused himself. That kind of honesty is rare, especially in the world of entertainment. Fans appreciated that. They saw a man who rose, fell, and rose again, and in doing so, Farmtruck became more than just a TV character. He became a role model, even today. Fans approach him at events and share personal stories of how he inspired them to change, to dream bigger, or to overcome something painful. Shawn doesn't take those moments lightly. He listens, smiles, and reminds them that if he can survive what he did, then anyone can make it too. For him, racing is no longer just about going fast. It's about moving forward, no matter how rough the road. Sean and AZN didn't just entertain audiences. They helped shape a new era in street racing culture. When Street Outlaws first aired, street racing was still seen by many as underground or dangerous. But Farmtruck and AZN showed the heart behind it. They brought a sense of community humor and passion to the sport. They weren't just about winning races, they were about connecting with people, helping young racers, and building cars with soul, not just speed. Farmtruck's famous truck wasn't the fastest, shiniest, or most high-tech machine on the block. But it had character. It had history. It told a story, just like its driver. And that's why people fell in love with it. Through the show, Sean helped break down the stereotype that only rich teams with high-end builds could win. He showed that even a man with a rusty old pickup, some grit, and a lot of heart could become a champion. Thanks to him and his team, street racing now has a wider audience than ever before. Local races are bigger, and more people feel like they can be part of the scene. His influence has also led to safety improvements and more respect for the culture. Fans and racers alike now treat the streets with more care, understanding that it's about respecting the machine, the road, and each other. Now that the dust has settled from his most intense battles, both on the track and in life, many fans are asking what's next for Farmtruck. While he might not be the main star of Street Outlaws like he once was, Sean Whitley is far from done. He continues to work in his garage, customizing old vehicles and teaching younger enthusiasts the ropes. His shop with AZN remains active, and they continue to release YouTube content and make appearances at races and car shows across the country. In a recent interview, Sean hinted that he wants to focus more on helping others. Whether that means mentoring young racers, supporting addiction recovery programs, or even starting a new show about real garage life, one thing is clear: he's not slowing down. It's not about racing faster anymore, he said. It's about building something that lasts. And that's exactly what he's doing. Building a legacy, not just for himself, but for every dreamer out there who thinks they don't have what it takes. Some fans were heartbroken when Farmtruck seemed to fade from the spotlight. The headlines claiming he was saying goodbye only added to the sadness. But in reality, it's not an ending, it's a new chapter. The fast-paced world of racing may change, and the show may evolve, but legends like Farmtruck never truly disappear. They leave a mark, a story, and a trail behind them that others can follow. For many, Farmtruck's legacy will be more than just a highlight reel of races. It'll be about the man who battled demons and came back stronger, who turned a broken, down truck into a national icon, and who proved that true strength comes not from horsepower, but from heart.